Hey y'all, this is my first episode under the theme relationships, and it's coming at the end of February. And you guys know I try to give you at least 2 episodes under each theme, so it's obvious that something is definitely off. This whole month has been tough for me mentally and emotionally. I know I told y'all January was tough, so I was hoping February would take it easy on me, but she said, no, not this year. There's been so many mental restructuring and readjustment that it's been so emotionally wrecking, and what's happening is caused by too many things that it's hard to even pinpoint one thing. And the funny thing is, these things are not things I can run away from. It's absolutely necessary that I deal and unpack them as soon as possible. To be honest with you, I almost did not record an episode for February. What I was planning to do was I would wait till March and then record a whole new episode explaining why I didn't do anything for February. And it sounded like a good idea at the time, and it at least took the burden off of me for a while, for a week. Then last Sunday, I listened to Pastor Michael Todd from Transformation Church talk about being distracted in the deep, which is the title of the last message in their Anchored series. He said something so profound, and I wanted to share it with you guys. He mentioned that the biggest way for us to get distracted is through our emotions. The devil doesn't have to do nothing. Jesus doesn't have to do nothing, but our own emotions can keep us distracted in life. And then he went on to say that the goal in life is not to start doing something, but to finish it. So he used the story of Peter walking on water to illustrate this. By the way, I have a whole episode on this particular Peter story. So if you haven't checked it out, please do. I appreciate you. What Pastor Mike did was he took the same story from a whole new perspective. And he said that when Peter stepped out of the boat and started walking on water, he was pretty excited about that. But the goal was not for him to just step out and walk on water. The goal was for him to get to Jesus. But when he allowed himself to be distracted and focus on his emotions, which was fear at that time, he started to sink. But if it was just about starting, Peter did that. He literally started walking on water, but he was unable to get to his goal, which was to get to Jesus. Then Pastor Mike said, don't let the emotions attached with starting something keep you from finishing. And when I finished listening to that sermon, I was like, has Pastor Mike been getting memos about my life or something? Because this is exactly what I'm going through. I could relate to it so much. I started a podcast, and that's exciting, but that is not the goal. The starting line cannot be the finish line. And I cannot allow the emotions, the adrenaline, the fear, and the uncertainty to stop me from getting to the finish line. Let me tell you something. I've been so emotionally distracted that it seems I might not even be able to get to my finish line. I almost did not release an episode this entire month. How crazy is that? For something that I was so happy to start, it baffles me that I almost didn't do exactly what I wanted to do this month. And that's what happens when we allow our emotions to take control. So after last Sunday, I was like, you know what? I'm going to do what I gotta do, not in spite of my emotions, but because of my emotions. Lovey Ajayi puts it like this in one of her podcast episodes. Feel the fear and do it anyway. I cannot continue to wait till all my emotions are gone before I do what I'll have to do. If not for anything, it is my emotions, the fear, the anxiousness, the excitement, the eagerness to do more that would allow me to connect better with you guys. So, I am going to take the pressure off of myself. The pressure to release a certain number of episodes because someone else is doing that, and if that doesn't happen, I feel like I'm inadequate or useless. Don't get me wrong, I am still going to set goals and challenge myself, but the measuring stick would never strictly be quantitative, but it would be how much I have grown. So even if it's just one episode a month in what I called an emotional roller coaster, I am going to do that and work through whatever that I am feeling. I cannot afford to stop or quit at the starting line. I'm going to get to the finish line, which is to create a community of Christians who do not only serve God with their lips or their actions, but with what they listen to too. Because what we listen to goes straight to our souls. And I sincerely hope that you will be a part of this community and this journey. And I also sincerely hope that you don't think because I sit behind this microphone, then I have my life together. I am only 22. I am not even done with university. So I can assure you that I do not know everything. But that is not going to prevent me from learning and sharing what I learn and my experiences with you guys. Most often than not, I have to deal with and work through the very things I talk about here. So this is a space for us to grow together because life is done better together with people. Talking about together, on this episode, we are discussing letting people go. The irony, right? Because I just said life is done better with people, and now I'm about to talk to you about letting people go. yeah, stay with me. You'll get it in a minute. The song and the discussion today is from two incredible people that I absolutely I just remembered that I didn't even welcome you guys, and because I was just rambling. Jeez. Sorry guys, let's run this all the way back. Anywhere you go, give it on. Anywhere you say, anywhere. Hey y'all. This is your host Shari, and I am super excited that you landed on my podcast, Musical Epics with Shari. Like I said earlier, the singers on this song are amazing people, and the featuring artist has been my crush from the very first time I saw him and heard him sing until now. He's literally an epitome of the kind of man I want to marry in the future. That is, if I ever get married. He is tall, he is so deep, he's funny, and his voice, oh my god, his voice, he sings like heaven is coming down. Anyway, the main artist is someone I like to refer to as the Beyonce of gospel music. To me, her voice is like a powerhouse. She has some kind of strength when she sings, and her vibe is so on point, and she has done so much in the industry. And to think she is only 23 years old. She is such an inspiration, and she has the most beautiful yet complicated name. Obviously not complicated for them, but in our African Ghanaian setting, definitely complicated. Okay, so let me stop rambling and go ahead and give you the song and the discussion today. And the song is, drum rolls please, Peace by Koyrn Hawthorne, featuring the one and only Jonathan McReynolds. Yes! This song is from Koyrn Hawthorne's album, I Am. Koyrn apparently is very strong on identity and purpose, and she believes that the fact that we are alive today in 2021 is no mistake, that God made us for such a time as this, and the only way we can know who and why we are here is to connect to who God is. And so the entire album is basically centered around that idea. The song starts with Koyrn describing a relationship that she had to walk away from. According to the lyrics, the relationship started with them as close friends, and it was like one of those relationships that you don't know exactly when and how you guys met. Like, you don't know, you can't trace it back. All you know that you guys are close friends. However, although they had a good run and a good time, the relationship was moving too fast and everything had to change. Why? Because the person wasn't good for her energy and she had to walk away. I promise all of that is in the lyrics. I just had to put it in a story form so that it will be more interesting. But I get two things from this. One, I love how she didn't use any pronoun to represent the other party in the relationship, because then that leaves it very open. It could be a he, it could be a she, right? Cool. Two, I am 101% sure that all of us have been in a close friend kind of relationship before. Let me try and make this practical though. Relationships that are not good for your energy. For example, whenever you meet with this person, you start to question everything you can and cannot do because the person does not believe in you. Or after meeting with a person, you are so tired because you spend all your time and your energy trying to fix that person. Or you were tired and you spend all of your time doing unnecessary things that at the end of the day, you do not get anything productive done. Those kind of relationships are not good for your energy because they take from you, they drain you, and they do not promise to give anything back. Koyrn has given us the one and the most important reason that would warrant you leaving that type of relationship. Because let me just say this, we live in a culture where cutting people off is a vibe or a mood, yes, especially when we are nearing a new year season. We have memes and quotes like, oh, I don't like cutting people off, but it's like they are handing me the scissors. Or like, I cut people off with no warning because you are too old to not be aware of what you are doing wrong. And then my personal favorite is the one that says, people be like, you can't cut people off out of your life and act like they never existed. And then it has a picture of someone with a big knife or a big scissors and it's labeled as me. I'll probably post a few of my favorite memes on this particular thing on my IG story. So be sure to follow me and check it out. I'll leave my handle in the description box of this episode. So like I was saying, cutting people off is really popular and trendy, but the question is, how do you balance that with doing life with people? On one extreme end, you can cut people off. You can cut so many people off that you become alone and bored and unsupported. And even if you have Jesus, you will still be miserable because Jesus works through people and you've cut all of them out of your life. And then on the other extreme end, if you don't cut people out of your life, you might end up with some unwanted crap that you have to deal with. And you would have too many people pulling on you, and the temptation to get distracted is so high. So where do we put the balance? Like, where is the balance? And then there is the other part where it's like, well, nobody is perfect. We all have flaws. So how do you cut someone off because of their flaw when you are also a flawed person? And the first line of the bridge in the song mentioned it, and it goes like this, and I quote, I know that no one's perfect really. That's the truth. No one is perfect. So how do you cut someone off when you are not perfect? Because this particular thing can make you feel so guilty sometimes that when you have to cut someone off, you will be putting it off. And let me just say this before I move on, that cutting people off or just not talking to somebody at all is something that I'm really, really good at. It's kind of like it comes to me naturally. And it's mostly not because either of us did anything wrong, or even if one of us did something wrong, it's not like it can't be fixed. It can be, but I just don't want to talk to you anymore. Yeah, we were talking 24/7 last week, but today isn't last week. Stop texting me. Stop calling me. I do that. I do that a lot. And when I started to learn about my emotions and my heart and how and why I operate the way I do, I realized that that was a toxic behavior and I needed to put it in check. And I really had to sit down and learn, because that behavior almost cost me one of the best people that has ever happened to me. And even till now, it's hard for us to get back to how things used to be. So believe me when I say that the things that I'm going to talk about from here on out is going to convict me too, and I'll have to work on it in my own life too. That's how it happens around here. We learn and we grow together. Right, so let's hear what Koyrn and Jonathan has to say about these issues that I have raised. You know what? On second thought, let me describe Jonathan McReynolds' situation, and then we can comfortably talk about some solutions. So, Johnny Mac, as Kev on stage likes to call him, presented an entirely different situation from Koyrn's. From what I got from the lyrics, I think he was talking about being in a relationship that both parties do not want to be in. He talks about how they should have just stayed as close friends, and maybe he made too many keys to his heart and he let the wrong one in. Johnny Mac is deep like that, he's just deep. And obviously, neither of them wanted to hold each other back, or neither of them wanted to have regrets, so they had to leave the relationship. Personally, I haven't been in any relationship where I felt this way, but I can say for a fact that some people might have. And from the way it sounds, it does not sound pretty at all. Now, let's talk solutions. The reason why both Koyrn and Johnny Mac thought it was wise to leave their relationship is clearly stated from the bridge all the way to the chorus. You would have to listen to the entire song to get the deets, but I'm going to give you the main gist. The first point they made is that once they decided to let go of a relationship is because they value their time. Not to say that the person on the other side does not deserve their time. It's just that they don't want to play with theirs. And I do believe we can learn a few things from this right here. Listen, life is too short to be spending it on people who add no value to your life. Life is too short to be living a life trying to please everybody and being scared of what someone might do or might not do. Time is the only resource that we never get back. And the funny thing is, once we are in time, we think it never ends. It really does. And this is not to scare you or anything, but all I'm trying to say is we can all do better with our time, especially the ones that we spend in relationships. You were up all night thinking, why hasn't he called me? Why isn't he replying my text? Is he cheating on me? Is he going to break up with me? Break up with him. Jeez, don't waste your time, girl. Don't do that. Which brings me to the second reason why Koyrn and Johnny Mac decided to leave their relationships, and that is peace, which is the title of the song. Yeah, it took us this long to get here. They said that it is crucial to them that they hold on to their peace and protect their peace because they cannot get it from anybody else once it's all gone. And this is so true because the number one way to know that a relationship is not good for you is when it's full of doubt, worry, and fear. And I call these three the triple threat to peace. And if you are in a relationship where you are constantly in doubt and second guessing each other's move, or you are always worried about stepping on each other's toes or offending each other, or you are worried about what the person might or might not do, then there is the other one where you are always afraid of the person. It could be drop dead fear, or the fact that you can't be yourself around the person and you are not comfortable in the person's presence. You are afraid of making mistakes or afraid of the person's sharp criticism, so you assume the perfect person's posture when you know that you are far from being perfect. All these things are not healthy and they rob you of your peace, the peace that you need to be able to focus and not to be distracted by anything. And the peace that we are talking about is not an illusion of peace or an ordinary peace. We are talking about the peace of God that transcends all understanding. Not the peace you have when everything is calm and the sunset is beautiful and the grass is green. Not that peace. No. The peace that we are talking about is the one that will sustain you and keep you calm and grounded when the waves are blowing like crazy and it's super dark and there's no sign of sun and the grass is dry and brown. That is the peace we are talking about. Because life is not all about beautiful sunsets and green grasses. Life has some storms and dark days and some deserts, and you will need peace to be able to stay grounded. And there's only one person that can give that kind of peace, and his name is Jesus Christ. Not your mother, not your father, not your brother, not your sister, not your lover, not your BFF, not drugs, not TV, not fame, not money. That is why you cannot allow any of these things or anybody to take that peace away from you, because you will not be able to get it back from them. Koyrn and Johnny Mac advises us at the end of the song to always keep our peace first. And they go on to say that in their life, God is first. And no matter who you are, you gotta respect that. If we are able to keep our priorities right in our relationships, we will be able to use our relationship scissors the right way and not just because culture said so. Because, see, if I'm being honest, everybody can tell when they are not in the right relationship. Koyrn puts it this way. She said, I can feel it in my soul when it ain't right. It's all wrong. You know that boy or girl isn't good for you. You know you are jealous of your BFF and it's ruining you. You know you have a strained relationship with your family. The question is, what are you going to do about it? And I'm not saying go and cut off all of your family members and all of your friends, but I am challenging you to reevaluate all of your relationship. If it's worth fighting for, then fight for it. Don't waste your time in drama. But if it's taking too much of your time and it's taking too much of your peace and you can't live without the relationship, then use your scissors, bro. Use your scissors, sis. Just cut it. And let me also say that I am not trying to mandate you to do anything that go and cut this person off or go and end this relationship. I am not mandating anything. But if the shoe fits, you have to wear it. If you are looking for a shoe size 35 and what I am giving you is size 35, you know what to do. You do. The relationships in your life rub off on your purpose and your destiny. So we gotta do better in our relationships. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I am super excited that I was able to bring you this. Y'all should say a prayer for me whenever you are praying. Now, if you've listened up to this point, then it's obvious you like me. You know you like me. You like me. I like you too. So why don't you go ahead and subscribe to my podcast? Also, follow me on all my socials so we can be internet buddies. I'll leave all of my handles in the description box of this episode. Be sure to share this with all of your friends and your family so that when you decide to cut them off, they will understand. I'm just kidding. The song we discussed today is Peace by Koyrn Hawthorne and Jonathan Caleb McReynolds. Go listen to the song as you take inventory of all of your relationships. Thank you so much for listening, and until we meet again, be safe, be happy, and be you. Bye.